and welcome to ET Now Startup Central, India's first and only daily show dedicated to startups and entrepreneurship. I'm Chandra Srikanth coming to you live from India's startup capital, Bangalore, and we have a power-packed show lined up for you over the next 20 minutes.
And I'm Krishna Kumar coming to you live from ET Now's Mumbai studios. First up, a check on the headlines here at ET Now Startup Central. Who raised what this week and how does it fare compared to the lackluster week before? Find out on our weekly funding meter with Venture Intelligence. We also have the list of the top investors among angel investors, and Mohandas Pai of Manipal Global Education tops the group with 31 investments. We have the man himself with us to throw light on what he expects from startups and much more on our weekly funding meter with Venture Intelligence.
Now let's kick it off with our weekly funding meter with Venture Intelligence, and who better than Arun Natarajan to really take us through who raised what this week. Arun, take us through the key investments and also the key sectors that saw investments this week.
Yes, this week has been quite brisk in terms of VC fund investment. We've seen about a dozen investments worth $36 million. This compares favorably to last week, where we had just 4 transactions worth about $33 million, right? So last week we had just one company, Nestaway's investment of $30 million dominating the whole week. On the other hand, this week the amount of 36 million has been spread out quite evenly across various companies. The top investment, of course, was the $15 million Series B investment that was attracted by the online pharmacy company 1mg, and there, interestingly, the round was led by Maverick Capital, which is basically a US-based hedge fund related investor, along with existing investors Sequoia and Omidyar Network. Quite interestingly, this is the first hedge fund related investor investing in a new company this year. So far, including Tiger Global in Nestaway, they've all been backing their existing portfolio companies at best. So this is quite significant. The next interesting investment, the largest one, was a $8 million investment, which interestingly went into a battery, lead acid battery company, right? So clearly, there is investment appetite for sectors across the board. And so these are, and then it was followed by a bunch of investments, both B2C and B2B.
Arun, this is Krishna coming to you from ET Now's Mumbai studios. You've also done a special analysis for us on the top angel investors in India. So take it away. Tell us who all are there on that list.
Yes, very interesting that even in the latest week, as many as 15 investments have happened in just week, and which was exactly the same figure last year. So angels have clearly held up despite venture capital investments coming down from the middle of last year, quarter on quarter, so and month on month. So while angel investments at the same time have been ticking up. So we actually dug up the last 24 months data and looked at who has been investing most actively, and not very surprising, but the topmost investors is Mr. Mohandas Pai, former Infosys CFO, who has made as many as 31 investments, both in his personal capacity as well as his family office RN Capital, which is a investment vehicle which he shares with the Manipal Ghosh Ranjan Pai, right? And then you had other set of investors, Indian Angel Network, among the oldest angel networks in India. They have made as many as 30 investments in this period. And then, of course, Google India head Rajan Anandan, he has invested in 27 companies. And then you have Shadi.com founder Anupam Mittal coming in next at 22 investments, followed by Mr. Ratan Tata, of course, with 20 investments, and the Mumbai Angels coming in at number 6. The same figure of 20 investments.
Arun, most of the investors you mentioned have a background in tech. So even in terms of investment, is the bias more towards tech? And what really happens to startups in the non-tech space?
While they also count for, among the, let's say, the top 10 investment, the founders of Flipkart and Snapdeal, what we have observed is in the recent months and quarters, ever since the VC investment environment has become more challenging, the more established, executives and entrepreneurs, I'm talking about Mr. Tata, Mr. Mohandas Pai, as well as entrepreneurs like the Redbus founder, Fanindra Sama or the Taxi for Sure founder, Raghunandan. So these folks have basically stepped back from actively managing their companies. They've actually stepped up their pace in terms of their investments, while the founders were actively still at the helm of their companies like Flipkart or Snapdeal. They have kind of slowed down in the recent months.
Arun, also take us through, who has stepped up or rather stepped back when it comes to investing. The Flipkart and Snapdeal founders, for example, were quite active last year, weren't they?
Absolutely. So very clearly, 80% or so of across all of these most active angel investors would be, internet and mobile dominated their portfolios. That is, however, there is a difference between these most active investors. If you take internet industry veterans like Rajan Anandan or Anupam Mittal, they have stuck to their knitting and they do continue to focus on internet mobile, the sectors that they know best. On the other hand, similarly, if you look at the Indian Angel Network or the Mumbai Angels, they are also IT dominated in terms of their portfolio preference. However, if you look at Mr. Tata or Mr. Mohandas Pai, they have while their portfolio also is IT heavy, let's say 60% or so, they have clearly ventured beyond. For example, education, healthcare. These are all and even some companies that they've invested not necessarily for the financial returns, but also some kind of social or impact focus. So clearly, entrepreneurs who are in the non-tech space or have a clear social kind of story to tell, they can clearly look at some of these investors.
All right, Arun, we'll let go of that. Arun Natarajan of Venture Intelligence, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here and taking us through our weekly funding meet, and more importantly, that list, Chandra, of the top angel investors. And in fact, we are slipping into a very short breather on the show at this point in time. But coming up on the other side of the break is none other than the man who tops that list of angel investors in the country, Mohandas Pai, joining us live here on 18 Startup Central. You don't want to miss that one. Come back.
Welcome back. And Krishna, we have an important guest on the show. Take it away.
Absolutely, Chandra. We are keeping it with all the funding action here in this edition of VDN Startup Central. And we are shifting focus a little bit to the man who has topped the angel investor list put out by Venture Intelligence, none other than Mr. Mohandas Pai of Manipal Global Education, who joins us live here. Mr. Pai, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on 18 Startup Central. Tell us, you've come on top of the angel investor rankings for the last couple of years. Take us through your rationale that you apply when you make an angel investment.
Well, I think the rationale I apply is whether it's a good idea. The idea has to be good, whether those founders are very passionate, energetic, they can make it work, whether there's technology for scalability, and what are the chances of success. It's an assessment that you make based upon your experience, your capability, your understanding of the marketplace, and understanding about technology and meeting with people. And I'm fortunate that I work with a great group of people who understand many aspects of the tech business, and therefore I think it becomes easy to make those investments. I get 3 to 4 proposals a day, so a lot of deal flow comes through. So it is difficult to meet all of them and talk to them, but I'm happy that we've been able to make so many investments.
Mr. Pai, you've made 31 angel investments, really topping the chart there. But apart from this, you also invest through RN Capital with Ranjan Pai, you invest through Xfinity with V. Balakrishnan, and you also have a family fund, that your sons take care of. How do you really monitor so many investments? What kind of metrics do you apply to track all these continuously?
Well, there are a set of companies where I made an investment where I keep a tab on. For example, out of the 34 investments that we have made, about 14 are in the United States, and 12 are going for up rounds in the last 6-8 months. I think that's fantastic. So they reach out to me. I have calls with them once a month, sometimes once in 2 months. I insist on the financial statements. I call them up if I see something. I connect by email. So I think it works in a very flexible manner.
You have a tech background that is very well known. Does non-tech then get a lot of attention when you invest, or is tech a dominant focus for you?
No, but we are in, basically the platform has to be tech. It could be ed tech, it could be fashion tech, it could be fintech, it could be agri-tech, or it could be supply chain technology, but there has to be a base technology because technology allows you to scale up and address the entire Indian market.
Mr. Pai, for startups, entrepreneurs watching this show, if they want to know how to pitch to Mohandas Pai, how do they really become the 32nd or the 33rd company in that list of angel investments, what would you tell them?
Well, I'll tell them you must have a great idea. The idea should be appealing and the idea should be scalable. You must have a way of reaching your consumers to technology. You must have good tech, and you must have a passionate group of people who believe in 24 hours, 24 into 7 working without any leave, staying and getting on the business and with a gleam in their eye. These are the 3 things that I look for.
All right, Mr. Pai, I'm a little curious to know this. Tell us, how much money do you usually invest, per startup on an average?
The typical investment amount is anywhere from $100,000 to about $500,000. That's how most people look at it in dollar terms. So it's $500,000 to $500,000.
Mr. Pai, apart from this investment universe, you're part of SEBI committees, government committees advising, governments from Rajasthan to West Bengal. You're active in, Bangalore civic issues, and you still have time for TV debates from anything from political to social issues. How do you really manage all this? Is it a question of time management, or is there, something else that we should know about?
I don't know about time management because you get dragged into many things, and except that my life is miserable. I don't have time for myself, I don't have time for my family, I'm traveling like crazy, I'm talking to too many people, I'm not getting enough sleep, and I'm getting fed up too. So I had to rearrange my time, and on top of that, you call me various times and ask me to come on a TV channel. So Chandra, but Chandra, Chandra, we are all very driven individuals who want to do something in their lives. And when you come to a stage of life, when you've got less to look forward than what you have been through, you try to work harder to make every day count. So we're all driven, and I guess it's on a roller coaster where it doesn't stop, it just goes faster and faster.
Mr. Pai, I know I harass you a lot of times over phone, but thank you for making time each time when we've called you on our channel, on our show, and we'll certainly be tracking your investments closely going forward. But with that, we come to the final segment of the show today, Number Crunch. And the number we are crunching for you today is 2.4 million. Now that, according to consulting firm Excel.com, is the number of Google search queries per minute. I mean, all of us keep hitting the search tab on Google, but 2.4 million searches is what the search engine gets per minute. And that's really a humongous sum. I mean, I guess when it comes to search, very difficult to beat Google. I guess a tough lesson there that the others have learned. But Krishna, that's an amazing number. I think I would easily average 50 to 100 searches per day. Not sure what your number would be.
I haven't tracked my number, Chandra, but the only other G that will get more queries than Google has to be God. On that note, we need to wrap things up here on this edition of ET Now Startup Central. Thank you so much for watching. Don't go anywhere. Coming up next is ET Now News First at 7.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/etnow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/etnow.